So often we'll hear somebody say to stand your ground. So I certainly know I speak about boundaries and I speak about knowing your truth and living from your truth and all that sort of stuff. And then I think about how does one know? How do you know what your internal truth is? So in order to respect your internal truth, in order to actually live from your internal truth, in order to live internally referenced from that space inside of you emerging outward, you have to be able to decipher what that truth is. And in the world that we are all living in, what has happened is that the cultural conditioning, the programming, the socially constructed conditioning and reality teaches us, and that's a polite way to say it, teaches us how to be creatures of external referencing. So how to ignore the multiplicity of cues that emerge from our bodies and fine tune, get really, really good at fine tuning our attention to what's going on in the world out there. How do people respond? What will people think? What do experts think? Let me check the 45 different ways in which someone else has an opinion about the thing that's going on with me, and then maybe, just maybe, I will know what the truth is inside of me. And here's the thing. Bottom line. If you continue to search for someone else to tell you your truth about yourself, and I don't really care if it's astrology or your therapist or TV or AI, like I don't really care what you call the thing that you're putting your lotus of attention on to tell you what the truth of your experience should be. If that is outside of you, so if you continue to believe that the truth lives outside of you, you will continue to disempower yourself by looking for that truth outside of you. And guess what? You're never going to find it, never, ever going to find it. You're going to find little bits and pieces and glimpses, but you're never going to allow yourself to be satiated. You're never going to allow yourself to be immersed in the massiveness of the truth that lives inside of you. And if you don't allow yourself to get to know, to get really, really intimate with the visceral cues of your body that are the ways in which you get to know your internal truth, then all you've got is other points outside of you to tell you what to do. And generally, that depends on your cultural conditioning and your internalization of that through your early family systems. So people are highly predictable. People are highly manipulatable because they're so predictable. And so it's a matter of discovering how it is that you can own your own mind. How can you get to know yourself? How can you look at the structure of thought that lives inside of you and gives you an opportunity to discover your own answers? This is what I do. This is what I rejoice in doing, is helping women discover how to live from those internal cues that can never, ever lie to them. So if you're curious about that, I invite you to just send me a message and we can go from there, seeing where you are, what you're struggling with, what's real and true for you. And if you're curious about how do I know? Fine, Stella, but how do I know what's mine and what isn't? Well, that's the whole journey. That's the whole point of the journey, is to begin to discover, it's to begin to question and discover and then let go. So it's a really, really fun journey if we allow it to be a really, really fun journey in the midst of what we perceive as chaos. So if you're curious about that, I invite you to just let me know that you're curious about it, and I'll happily send you some resources for you to consider. And also, if you want to, you can have a conversation with me, because I'm more than happy to do that with you. I'll be having some more videos and blog posts and, you know, content or whatever around this sort of line of inquiry, because I think it's really critical for us to explore, how do I know what I know? How do I know what's real and true for me that's going to move me in the direction of my own becoming? And how do I know what the mud is? How do I know what the confusion is? How do I know what's real and true amongst all of that? And the only thing I can tell you that is your navigator system, your best navigator system, is the cues in your body. So how to decipher those cues is a journey, and all you have to do is get really, really clear. Is this true for me? Yes or no? The moment that you think about it, the moment that you try to come up with a story around it, the moment that you try to make it about anything other than that initial gut instinct of yes or no, you're now in the conditioning. It's really that simple, and it's really that complicated. I wish you all a spectacular day, and subscribe to my channel if the videos that I'm referring to or the content that I'm referring to is meaningful for you. Till next time.